Hello everyone. My name is Valsala Krishnan, and I'm the CEO of Globetrotter Consultancy. We do culture transformation, and I'm also a C-suite coach and currently doing my PhD in business in entrepreneurial mindset. I've been given the opportunity to share on giving back. This is something very close to my heart. And if I sum up my life, this will be in few stages in my life. So giving back, if you really look at giving back, currently it's a very hot topic with ESG. It looks at giving back in terms of the environment or paying forward in terms of your employees or your social impact or even in the governance part of it. But giving back, it's not only at a corporate level, it's at every individual level. And how it is depends on what are you doing, which stage of life you are in. So I'm going to talk about different stages in my life, how I viewed giving back and what I could give back. And giving back also has two contexts to it. One is for me, giving back is one is giving back in time. Another one is giving back in money or resources or facilities, something like that. So if I look at it, let me go back, flashback many years back when I was a student. Okay, as a student, there's not much okay this so as a student there's not much giving back actually, because you are at a stage of life where you are actually receiving. Okay, you're receiving the attention from your teachers, the knowledge from your teachers. You're receiving your parents are taking care of you, so you're more of the receiving end. It's actually as a student, but you're learning, you're growing, and something you have in abundance as a student is time. So you are actually putting in your time, you're giving back your time. One is you're giving back your time to family members. It could be your grandparents who now are older and you need to spend time with them. That could be one of it. You're giving back in time to build yourself, to grow, to build yourself so that you can be of contribution in future. And one thing I remembered when I was in the university is there was one particular semester that was during semester break. The university put out a notice saying something like there is a survey done. You can enroll to do a survey for 2 weeks. We have to go to a certain to live with a certain family, and two families over 2 weeks. We have to stay in with them, do a survey of the income and lifestyle of women in certain underprivileged communities and all. So I did that. I had a lot of time, as I said, much more than when you started working and all. And that was my way of giving back my time, but it was also something of enrichment for me. It was enriching for me. So going on then, moving on, I qualified as an accountant. I started as an accountant and then moved on to be a finance manager and all. So giving back in the corporate world, in giving back in the corporate world, again, you're starting your career. You are now learning and giving your best. For me at that time was giving my best in the company that I was working in itself. So it is the job. Somebody very wise told me in the beginning itself that whoever you can help in your corporate world, in your job, help them. Okay, because you don't know, what goes around comes back around. So you do not know whose help you will need in future, or who will be the one that will be in a position to help you. So just help anyone who can. It could be little things, it could be bigger things. And I remember there was once there was one, and give people the benefit of doubt. So the um, giving your best is what, if I look back my corporate world itself, giving back was more of giving back in terms of my best in doing the work that I can do, and also giving people the benefit of doubt. Okay, for example, I remember one particular incident. The MD, I was a young accountant at that time, and one of the MD called me, and she was very upset. She was telling me, I can't trust your figures. She was telling me a lot of things. She was very upset. Okay, and I was very confused why she was upset. So I kept quiet. I listened to her for a few minutes. Then I asked her, actually, what is the problem? What is it that what is the problem? And she told me, I have two reports, and these reports don't tie up. One report, that there is a few 100,000 that is missing, or where is it? Where have you all hidden it? Something like that. So then I asked her, which two reports? So I know one report was generated by the finance department. Another report was generated by her assistant. So I told her, give me a few minutes, or give me some time. Let me look at what is missing in the reports. And then when I looked at it, oh, there was the report that her assistant was generating had one line missing. So there was one costing missing. And I explained this to her. So it was a simple, it was a miscommunication. If you ask me, the reports didn't match because there's some things it was not picking up. It was just a system error. It was just a simple miscommunication, which would have blown up into a departmental argument if I didn't take it to do my best to give in and to solve the problem. So giving back in my corporate world was more on doing my job well, focusing on solutions, giving people the benefit of doubt, okay? And sometimes giving first. So someone is frustrated, they may be get upset and all, but I don't need to join in and get upset with them. So this was how my corporate world giving back was. But eventually, as you do your work well and you grow up in your career, and I moved up to be a finance director and all, and as you, this one you will know as you mature in your career, you realize something, you will become very good at your job, and you will start getting bored, or your heart will say, move on to do something else. So, what fascinated me at that time was people. So I got an opportunity and I made a wish, and the opportunity came, so that I moved into a regional position, regional HR position, where I now need to work with people. And I was looking at M&A. I was looking at M&A. I was traveling around in different countries. So I got to meet different people in different regions. Mainly, everything came back to the same thing. People wanted recognition. People wanted appreciation. People wanted your time at times. So giving back here was something that I discovered. I discovered something. I was looking at how can I set a culture that is happy, that is open. People trust each other, and people feel safe to communicate with each other. The focus is external on the business, on the customers, not on each other. So this is something that I found as I was looking for an answer. I found this in a business incubator actually. So I found it in a business incubator, and they were doing a year-long transformation mindset transformation program, which builds the entrepreneurial mindset. And when I looked at it, that was a perfect match that that could transform cultures in organization. So remember, we're talking on the topic of giving back. So this is when I realized there is a big, huge need in organizations to build the people, to transform the people, to transform the culture, to be happy. Yes, you focus on your goals, you be happy, to work together, to give people the benefit of doubt, to give first, to actually care, to be understanding. All this, it has to come through a culture transformation, it has to come through a mindset change, and it has to come through an awareness. So where here I was 10 years ago, seeing a problem and also having the solution in hand. The entrepreneur who was doing this, he didn't want to do this for companies. So he was saying, you can learn how to do this program and you can do it for companies. So here I was at a point in my life where I could happily continue in my corporate career, or here I found a solution which I really know people need it. I can take it out to people. And that's how I started Globetrotter Consultancy in 2019. So that's like 9 years ago. So when I started Globetrotter Consultancy, I had a solution. I know the company, there was a huge need there, especially for SMEs and also for MNCs. Basically, everywhere there's people, there was need for this awareness on why we are reacting to situation. How do we manage our emotions? It was very important. I know this. I found something very important that was yet known to the masses. So what I did is The next few years, I actually spent the time going to companies, started doing these programs and all. And over time, the initial years is very difficult. It was very difficult for me because here I am. When you sit in a corporate world, corporate job, things are structured. It's already set for you. But when you do a startup, there's so much of uncertainties, and in the beginning stages, there's a lot of marketing, meeting people, which is out of my comfort zone. Okay, so as I did this, and our work started showing results, then we started getting recognized in the industry. We started getting media appearances, and we started getting companies calling us to do the culture transformation because it was unconventional. It got people to the basics of being themselves, and um, this move continued on to my next stage. So the last few years was this. It was fantastic that I was doing this, and along the way when I was doing this, something else happened. Then I started building a nice team. The team can do this already. Something else happened. I started seeing that the biggest impact is actually the C-suite executives, the CEO, the CFO, the VPs. So they were the one that had the biggest impact on the organizations, but they also had the biggest stress because every decision they make impacts many people. And because of that, I realized something. Over the years, I've learned a few things that, and I've applied it. And if I could work with C-suite executives, I could share it with them. So I went on to do C-suite coaching. So this is my next step of giving back. So giving back is something that flows naturally in your life, in your career. So now, when I work with C-suite executives, they are successful. Okay, they are successful, but time is still a resource, a limited resource for them. So spending the time with family and balancing it with their own career is a challenge. Okay, because children grow up as well. At the same time, you are also very responsible and impactful in the organization. So one of the thing is I learned how to balance it really well, and so I started doing C-suite coaching so that they can balance their family life, they can be happy, they can make sound decisions and impact their team, they can change the culture of the organization as well. So this one, when I do this, it's in my career itself, it impacts people. And when I impact someone like a C-suite, someone at a C-suite level, what happens is it impacts the entire organization. So what goes around comes back in that sense. So giving back could also be something in your own career. And lastly, right now I'm also doing my PhD in business, in the entrepreneurial mindset. Because one of the things I've realized is when we're working with youngsters, we also work with a lot of youngsters. And when we work with youngsters, many of them want to be entrepreneurs. And here I have a model that creates the entrepreneurial mindset, which has been successfully done by me for the last 10 years and people before that. But it is not shown in mainstream education. So now this is my responsibility to do the research, yeah, to have the data and write up a paper, write up a thesis that gets policymakers and education institutions to see another option of how the entrepreneurial mindset can be developed in youngsters or any aspiring entrepreneurs. So giving back in a nutshell for me is following your heart and doing your best in that situations. Eventually, as you grow older, your when you're young, it's mostly your energy, okay, that you're giving back in. But as you grow older, it's your knowledge, it's your experiences that comes together, and you give back in whatever way you can, in whichever job that you're doing, as long as it impacts someone, even one person, it will have another effect, and eventually it will impact more people and more people, and it will impact people at different levels. So if you think and if you are waiting to give back when you grow up or when you are 30 years old or when you retire, that's not going to happen. Giving back happens every day in your life. if you can incorporate it in your career, that is the most ideal. And giving back don't necessarily only means going donating your funds. Your time is also important, because donating your funds, working with the young, keeps you young. So I do also work with a group of youngsters. I also do I also spend a lot of my funds and also my time in building the young. But that is something that will grow as I became successful. I realized my success can be used in a very good manner by sharing it with the young, so that they have opportunities that I didn't have when I was young. So when I pay forward here, uh, it's another form of giving back as well. So yeah, I wish you all the best. You can start now. Thank you.